Hello and welcome to Speed Cafe's preview of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, proudly brought to you by the Ford Ranger Raptor, three-time winner at Fink. Formula One heads to the streets of Baku this weekend for round 17 of the 2025 season, as the championship battle between Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris continues to heat up. At just over 6 kilometers long, Baku's layout offers a very unique challenge for drivers, offering a mixture of slow, narrow corners through the famed castle section and the fastest continuous flat-out section of any circuit on the calendar. It's a high-speed circuit that rewards bravery and punishes even the smallest mistake, and rarely offers a dull Grand Prix. With that in mind, there's an 88% chance of a safety car at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, the 5th highest on the calendar. But at the opposite end of the spectrum, there's only a 25% chance of winning the Azerbaijan Grand Prix starting from pole, the second lowest on the calendar for pole to win conversion ratio, only behind Miami. And to underline how qualifying here is actually no guarantee of victory, only 50% of all race winners at Baku have come from the front row. So remember that when it comes to qualifying this weekend. And while qualifying up the front doesn't always guarantee you success at Baku, driving for either Mercedes or Red Bull often in the past has. Of the 8 races held at the Baku track, 7 of which were the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, 1 being the European Grand Prix at its debut race in 2016, 7 of them have been won by either Mercedes or Red Bull. Red Bull have won 4 times at the Baku track, Mercedes 3. The only time one of those 2 teams never won was last year, when McLaren won at the hands of Oscar Piastri. And while clearly there has been a dominance by 2 teams at this circuit, when it comes to drivers, it's all over the place. 7 different drivers have won in Baku, with only Sergio Perez winning this race more than once. Of those 7 drivers that have won in Baku, 2 of them are Aussie. Daniel Ricciardo won a very famous Grand Prix in 2017 at this track, while Oscar Piastri took his most dominant win in the sport last year at this race. Which, if you love stats like me, there's as much chance of an Australian winning the Grand Prix in Baku as there is a driver winning from pole, so there's a fun fact for the day. Speaking of Piastri, he heads into Baku not only hoping to become the first ever back-to-back winner of this race, but hoping to bounce back after everything that happened last time out in Monza. Piastri still holds a 31-point lead over Lando Norris, of course, but all the controversy that came from the team orders fiasco at the last race will be fresh on the mind of Oscar and all the fans. No doubt all the media will be asking plenty of questions to both Oscar and Lando coming into this Grand Prix, and Oscar will be hoping to bounce back and silence all of those questions by coming out on top on the race on Sunday. And while the eyes will be on how the drivers go up against each other for McLaren this weekend, the team can secure their 10th Constructors' Championship this weekend in Baku, believe it or not. If they secure a 1-2 finish, no matter what happens behind them, they will secure that win and create history by the earliest ever time a Constructors' Championship has been decided in Formula One. Even if they don't get a 1-2, as long as they outscore Ferrari by 9 points, as well as keeping Mercedes and Red Bull away from the higher ends of the race, they will secure that championship, meaning that all the focus will purely be on the Drivers' Championship for the remainder of the year. Red Bull, of course, will not back down as they never do. Max Verstappen coming off the back of that great win in Monza a couple of weeks ago. As mentioned before, Red Bull have done pretty well at this circuit over the years. Verstappen has won here before, so they'll be hoping that their Monza form can continue coming into Azerbaijan this weekend. Ferrari have never won in Azerbaijan. Charles Leclerc has secured pole position here a couple of times over the years, but never been able to translate that into victory. Can they break through for their first ever victory in Azerbaijan this weekend? And as for Mercedes, George Russell is having a fantastic year. Still without a contract for next season, of course, but that is expected to be announced very, very soon. His teammate, Kimi Antonelli, though, has got a lot to live up to. Toto Wolff publicly criticised the Italian after his Monza weekend. They will be hoping to bounce back at a track where he has finished on the podium before in F2, so keep an eye out for him. Another driver people will have their eye on this weekend is Oliver Bearman. Now, the young Brit heads into this race weekend the prospect of a possible race ban. He got a couple of penalty points in Italy, and if he picks up 2 penalty points in Baku, he will miss the Singapore Grand Prix, which in a weird twist of fate, coming into Azerbaijan, the race last year where he made his debut for Haas after Kevin Magnussen was banned for a race. So a bit of symmetry going on there in the world of Formula One should Behrman get that penalty point pickup and miss a race. With all that in mind, it does set up another interesting Grand Prix for Australian and New Zealand fans. It's a bit more of a friendlier time for us watching it, a mid-evening as opposed to a late evening race, as well as other sessions. So get excited for that, and get excited for the McLaren battle to continue. Can Piastri bounce back after the Italian disappointment? Will Norris continue to chip away at those points? And will the Woking-based squad create history by winning the Constructors' Championship, the earliest we will ever have seen in the history of Formula One, if they do secure it this weekend in Baku? And as always, if you want to follow all the results, action news, and everything else happening from the Azerbaijan Grand Prix this weekend, keep your eyes and ears and everything else peeled right here to Speed Cafe.